Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How can I help you today?
Can you please check my today's calendar? And this is where it will call the N8N tool.
Today, December 20th, 2024, you have 5 events scheduled. They are a train journey to London from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., client work booked for the day from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., a return journey from London from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., a meeting with Al from 9:45 p.m. to 10:15 p.m., and some decompressed time from 10:15 p.m. to 10:30 p.m.
I'm just wondering, I think I have to go for a car wash tomorrow. Can you please book, let's say, a 15-minute for the car wash session from 8:30 to, I don't know, 8:45?
Okay, booked a car wash for tomorrow.
So Google have finally catch up in this AI race, and what a way to actually catch up with the market, right? If you see the leaderboards now, OpenAI is no more in the top of the leaderboard. Now Google have captured all the leaderboard, plus now they have also released their video models if you have not seen, and on top of that they are also focusing on different agent use cases, which is what I really love, that they are actually looking at the problem specifically and trying to solve it rather than just focusing on creating a intelligent model. So this is really interesting. I think there's a lot more interesting days coming up, and it is high time that you get to know the multimodal use cases, and this is the best channel where you can actually learn a lot of the multimodal use cases and voice AI agent use cases, because I have been kind of covering these areas over the last 4 or 5 months, and I have also created an open source project. If you do not know, you can go ahead and check that as well in the previous videos. But for this particular video, we are going to explore the Google's Gemini's function calling or AI tool calling ability with N8N. So let's go ahead, share my screen, and take you through the journey. Hey, welcome back. What we're trying to do in this video is we are trying to introduce function calling or tool calling with Google Gemini 2. And for this instance, what we are going to do is we are going to actually modify the AI playground code that Google have already provided as part of their Gemini 2.0 launch. You have probably seen it, and I have actually covered their AI playground code in more depth in the last video. I will attach the link in the description so that you can check the video if you don't know how that code works. Of course, in this demonstration, you will also be able to know it a much better way, because in this particular video, what we are going to do is we are going to introduce custom tool calling as part of the application that they have already provided. And what we are going to do, and my end goal with this particular journey, is to build bunch of agent in my N8N self-hosted instance, and then use the N8N webhook or API to get called from the Google Gemini AI playground. This is, again, in the previous video I have said you, the playground code that Google have provided is not really for production use. You cannot really host this is in internet for people to use or for your users, but this is absolutely fine to be used in our local environments. And that is what I have started working on, creating a N8N production standard agent. So basically I am creating a framework or more to create the N8N agents that can be used by different type of AI assistants that I am running as part of my company or as part of my personal use. And the larger goal is to create a service like JARVIS. More about that later part of the video. So please stay tuned for the upcoming videos. Subscribe to the channel, because this is really going to be more interesting as day by day go on. And this will only become interesting. What I have done so far is I have created bunch of AI agents in N8N, which I'm going to show you quickly. And as part of this video, I'm just going to integrate the calendar agent. And the whole idea is because I don't want to give every functions, like every tool calling to Gemini, to make it overwhelm, because every AI agent have limitations of number of AI tools that it can process at the same time. So my idea is to create a framework where we have modularized each and every AI agent with its specific tools or specific function call, and then call that particular agent as another tool. And I'm going to talk about that in a more details in a separate video, about how you should actually create a large AI agent framework with a lot of tools, a lot of different end SaaS service or APIs in the background. but let's go to the code base and understand how we are doing it for this session. So I think one of the first thing that I should show you is the agent. So basically I created this particular agent, which is the calendar agent. This is basically a simple tool agent that is already provided by N8N. All I have done is added some system message there, and I have given a specific tool, a tool for creating event, a tool for updating events. Let's just name it update event. And then I have created a tool to create event with attendee, to get all the events and to check the current calendar availability for booking meetings to the AI agent basically. And what it is doing is it will actually for testing I have used a chat trigger node so that I can actually test it locally. And additionally I have added a webhook, and that is the webhook which Gemini API will be able to call using the custom tool calling or function calling. And of course because the way chat works is a bit different, it actually directly sends json.query. So that is where what I have done is I have added the chat input like this from the json.body from the webhook, and then we are just sending it into the calendar agent. So here we are just reading the json.chat input, which is kind of standardized now. So whether it is coming from webhook or whether it is coming from the chat message, it's going to be having same field basically, which is json.chat input. Now one of the key thing here is we want to make it seamless, right? So that is why I have added a redis memory as well, which will have context length of 5, which is kind of default. But to have the memory working, we need to have a session ID, because if you see for the chat message, if you have ever used the chat message in the N8N, you know that it used something called session ID, and that is what it's being used to keep track of the memory. I think you can see it from here. This is like the session ID. So that is why even in the webhook we had to send a session ID, and if you see the edit fields, we are actually getting the session ID. So this session ID is really important to keep the context of the conversation. For example, if I ask the AI agent, hey, what is the day today, and then immediately ask, can you book me a meeting with Andrew, it should be able to know automatically that I'm asking about booking a meeting today, not in future, so that it has the context, right? So that is the whole reason of the session ID being introduced, and in the end it will only return the response that is being generated by the calendar agent. So all the AI agent processing and calling the actual calendar tool are happening in the N8N itself. So that really means that what this particular Google Gemini API playground is to do is call that AI agent. That's it, right? And it will just send the instruction that I would ask Gemini, and then N8N would do all the processing. So we will keep less overhead into this particular application. And you might ask me why you are doing that, because I told you in the last video that this is a React based application. That means the entire application will be running on the client side in your browser. So that is why you don't want to keep a lot of logics and stuff in your client side code. Cool. Let me quickly show you what I have done. I have not done a lot of things really. So basically, if you have seen the previous video, you know that the altea.tsx, which comes default with this particular playground code, already have this particular function, which is reindeer alter. Now I have kept this for reference so that, but this function is not being used anymore. I have instead created another kind of function declaration called manage calendar, and manage calendar basically have two input. One is the same query that I will ask to the Gemini, so it can formulate the query properly and just send it to this particular tool, and then the context, of course, the context of the conversation, like I said about the date, right? So it should send that as a context. Once it does that, what should happen is this call should go to the N8N, and then N8N should be able to process it based on whatever being asked and with the context. Now you can ask me, hey, but you have shown me that the webhook is accepting the chat input and as well as session ID. You are not sending the session ID. And where is the server URL and all these bits, right? Now for that, what we have done is we have created these two particular services, which is one is called calendar service. So calendar service.ts is which is actually making the call to the N8N agent. So that is actually making the call to the calendar API URL and to the send message, and it needs a session ID and the chat input. So it is getting the chat input and session ID, but where it is getting it from, right? So that is important. So that is why you need to look back into this particular function declaration function again, and then you see the name manage calendar, right? So what we'll do, we'll just search with manage calendar, and you will see that there is this particular logic where it's checking if the function calling name is manage calendar, then we get the query and the context as you have seen defined here, right? And then what we are doing is we are calling this particular method, which is calendar service dot handle calendar query, and we are providing the query and context that Gemini have produced for the function tool calling. So we'll go to this function and we'll see what it is doing. Right now it's doing basically here it's trying to make a call to make request function with again query and the context. Now we'll go to the make request function and see what make request is doing again. So make request is a function under the calendar service.ts, and this is where it is first basically checking whether the context of this particular conversation is a new context, if it is a new conversation or a completely new topic, and if it is a new context, then this will set as true, and then it will set a new session ID basically. So here it's basically fetching the particular context that has came with the JSON request which Gemini have called as part of the function calling, and then you go here in this particular function, this one is done, and it's checking if not equal to current context, then return true. That means if there is already a current context available, and if the context that has came as part of the function call, if it is not the same, then return true. That means it's a new context, right? And then I have added some more logic where it will check the current query related to the previous conversation or not. This is all just to safeguard so that we have the context of the conversation intact. And then what it is doing, if we go to the function where it was being called, it's basically creating a session ID, and then it's calling the our N8N API URL with the session ID and the chat input that was already available as part of the function calling from the Gemini 2.0. And once that is done, it will await for the response, and the response, once it's available, it will basically update the current conversation context with the response as well, the last response data as well, and then it will return that particular response, which is the data and the session ID back to the application here basically in this as part of this tool calling. And then Gemini would use that and actually respond to me using his voice or using her voice. So this is the entire architecture. I'm actually of course going to give you the codes so that you can do a bit more analysis if you have any questions or if you have any confusion. I have plans to add more tools, and as I've said, the plan is to actually create a bunch of more agents. So let me actually show you. So the plan is actually to create bunch of AI agent and then make all of this AI agent as part of the main assistant agent. So this is the personal assistant agent that I am building, as you can see, and it has all this email agent, calendar agent, and Jarvis project agent and everything. And individually, all of these agents also I'm building at the moment. So that means what will happen is we will have a segregation of agents with its own specific tools, and that will actually help a large language model like Gemini or something which is used for multimodal use cases not overwhelmed with actually a bunch of function calls and tools, because what can happen otherwise is that the Gemini 2.0 or other multimodal AI agent can easily get overwhelmed with, let's say, if you plan to use more than 40-50 functions or tools, and it might just call the irrelevant tools that is not relevant to the particular input or the particular questions or query that user would ask, right? So this is what I am planning to do in the coming days. So please stay tuned, and I'm going to update on that in more details. And to get the code, of course, you can check out the link in the description and grab the code for free, absolutely free. There is no charge at all. But if you are planning to build a production like agent, I'm of course having the SaaS course that I have launched. So I have already talked about it, and in this weekend I am going to talk about the design of that particular SaaS that I am doing. In the later part of the video, you will definitely able to see what I am talking about. So for now, let's do one thing. Let's just go ahead and test this agent, shall we? And and now it's time to test this Jarvis agent that I'm building with tool calling enabled with Gemini 2.0. Let's try that. So here we are in the UI. I'm just going to start it. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How can I help you today?
Do you know what date and time it is?
Yes, I do. Today is October 26th, 2023, and the time is 7:14 p.m.
No, that's wrong.
I apologize for that error.
Can you
Could you
find out
please
what
tell me
day
the
and
correct? My apologies. It seems I made a mistake earlier. The current date and time is December 20th, 2024, 12:42 a.m. Coordinated Universal Time.
that's right. Can you please check my today's calendar? And this is why it will call the N8N tool.
Today, December 20th, 2024, you have 5 events scheduled. They are a train journey to London from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., client work booked for the day from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., a return journey from London from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., a meeting with Al from 9:45 p.m. to 10:15 p.m., and some decompressed time from 10:15 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Would you like more details about any of these events?
No, I'm just wondering. I think I have to go for a car wash tomorrow. Can you please book, let's say, a 15-minute for the car wash session from 8:30 to, I don't know, 8:45?
Okay, booked a car wash for tomorrow, December 20th from 8:30 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. Okay, I've scheduled a car wash for tomorrow, December 21st, from 8:30 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. Is there anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you. So as you can see, it has booked the car wash here tomorrow at Saturday, not today, because I said tomorrow by mistake, not today. But yeah, works, so which is really good. Let's just see if it can do Google search. Hey, do you know who have won the chess championship this year?
This year, 2024, the World Chess Championship was won by D. Gukesh of India, who defeated the reigning champion Ding Liren of China. Gukesh is now the youngest undisputed world champion at the age of 18.
That's great. Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
So that's it for the demo. As you can see, that sometimes the function calling is not good with Gemini, and we probably need to do a bit fine tuning with the system prompt and everything. I will probably work on that a bit. But in this coming Sunday, in the SaaS course meetup, what I'm doing is I'm going to explain the design of the production standard, multimodal AI agent that I'm building as part of the SaaS course. And I'm just going to give you a quick glimpse about what is going to be covered on Sunday. So this Sunday, we are actually going to discuss the in production standard design of the Naughty AI Pro that we are creating as part of the SaaS course. And you can join the SaaS course as this is the really best time that you can join, as we are just starting out the design phase, and then we'll go with the development phase and everything, and you can probably inspire from it and create your own SaaS application. We will discuss the high level design and even the low level design of each and every component, as you can see. So this is really going to be awesome. And regarding the Jarvis that I'm actually trying to build as well, this is just the first demo. Of course, this is the first just one tool that is integrated. I'm actually creating bunch of N8N AI agent framework that you have probably already seen as part of the deep dive. So as part of Jarvis, I will be building all of these features. So please stay tuned and subscribe to the channel, because you are going to see some amazing content coming in your way. So with that said, I'm going to end this video, and I really hope you have got some value out of it. If yes, don't forget to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well, and take care, and I'll see you on to the next one. Bye.